Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. Right, I think it's all in place. It is Saturday morning. Our teacher for this week is Sharon Salzberg. And I have a bunch of quotes from her to share with you this morning, so I think it's best I get right into it. Imagine for a moment yourself as Superman. But instead of superhuman strength, your superpower is awareness. Anami, good morning. Danae, good morning. Happy Saturday morning to you. You can see situations crystal clear, understand the thoughts and emotions driving them, and respond with wisdom rather than knee-jerk reactions. This is the true power of meditation. Anthony, good morning. Sunmari, good morning. Happy Saturday to everybody. Sharon Salzberg says, meditation isn't about what is happening. It's about how you relate to what is happening. It's not about what's happening, but how you relate to what's happening. It's a complete shift in being. When no matter what happens, you have the ability to give it a moment, wait, and see if there's a different way of relating to what's happening. Stefan, good morning. Happy Saturday morning to you. Oh yes, it is Anthony's birthday today. It is Saturday. Happy birthday, Anthony. We can't control what thoughts and emotions arise within us, nor can we control the universal truth that everything around us changes. But we can learn to step back and rest in the awareness of what's happening. That awareness can be our refuge. So what she's saying is, whatever happens, we can take a step back into awareness. And that space, that awareness that we can take a step back into, can be our refuge. Would you judge your sweat glands for producing perspiration? In this sense, your brain is the same. It is like an organ. It produces thoughts and feelings over which we often have absolutely no control. This can be confusing because to some extent we of course can think deliberate thoughts, but don't be fooled. About 95% of our thinking happens subconsciously without us being able to stop it. Sharon Salzberg says, if we fall, we don't need self-recrimination or blame or anger. What we need is a reawakening of our intention and a willingness to recommit to being wholehearted once again. The next thought from Sharon Salzberg says, meditation is essentially training our attention so that we can be more aware, not only of our own inner workings, but also of what's happening around us in the here and now. What we need is a better understanding of what it means to be human and give ourselves a break for just doing our best. Be kind to yourself. The more willing you are to hold yourself when you fall, the stronger you'll be when you get up and try again. Today's meditation is inspired by the first quote from Sharon Salzberg. We don't have control over the things that arise around us or even within us. But when we create the habit of taking a step back and watching without reacting, then we're stepping into a deeper awareness that begins to understand why things are happening the way they do. It's only when we act from understanding that our actions have a shot at being effective. But first, we have to create the habit of stepping back and just observing. Let this be your superpower. Take a step back, breathe, soften, and see. Last thought from Sharon Salzberg. As we practice meditation, we get used to stillness and eventually are able to make friends with the quietness of our sensations. Today's meditation specifically uses our senses as a door to expanding our own access to awareness. If you are ready, that is where we're going. You can close your eyes and we'll float away together, starting with the first few big breaths. Let's take a deep breath in and out. Take a deep breath in and out. A deep inhale and let it go. Deep breath in and out. One more big breath in and let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine. Lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, let all of it go. With every exhale, soften. With every breath out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and drop your head. While you continue your own full body breathing, feeling your body rise with every inhale, and feeling into how your body falls with every exhale. I want to take a moment to remind you of the real, actual work you're doing right now. The message from Sharon Salzberg this morning is about awareness. Having awareness can be a superpower. And that is simply because there is a very general lack of awareness in the world. It is normal for humans to be acting and reacting without having any understanding of what motivates their acting and reacting. This very simple meditation, but also all the meditations you show up for, this one just in particular, may seem like a A boring little exercise. Sit and pay attention to your physical senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you feel? But what you are practicing as you go through your senses is to become really good at stepping into awareness. Awareness takes practice. And like any tool we use, let's say a kitchen knife, it needs regular sharpening. Because the truth is, we are built with a huge subconscious that is designed to take over many of our tasks. And it's not that we have to become superhuman in the way that our subconscious is never active, but it's to have enough consistent awareness that even your subconscious reactions start reflecting awareness. So for the moment, I want to thank you for all the work you do to step into awareness. Because of how rare it is in the world, it almost is like a superpower. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch and adjust and settle down into as much comfort as possible for the rest of our journey. Let's take a deep breath in. And as you release, drop your head all the way forward and roll out your neck muscles, going forward and to the left, and forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big circles, nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. You can lean your upper body over to the left and also lean your upper body over to the right. Imagine for a moment a sunflower with its face turned towards the sun, gently swaying in the breeze as you stretch into your back muscles on the left and stretch into your back muscles on the right. One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence, or at least as much as we are able to do that. We can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. If you don't have the time to sit for the whole meditation with us, this is always a good place to stop. For the next couple of breaths, we're going to hold our breath after every inhale, and then let it out in as slow and long a way as possible. So if you're ready, we'll take the next few big breaths together. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body and feel how softness slips in and settles in every part of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling. Feel your body slowly softening. And feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in and hold. As you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath, but hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, our journey today is about this body and what it experiences. So as you take a deep breath, as you dive deep inside, make sure you feel yourself getting into this body. Perhaps even wrap your arms around this body and say, "Hello, body. It is really good to have you." Take your next big breath. Our journey of the senses starts at the top and works its way through our body. The practice, the exercise is to step into awareness, to feel into the experience that is there, but not react to the experience. Just be a witness, be the observer of the experience. And at the same time, have awareness of what our thoughts are doing. Become aware of when our thoughts wander away. Then simply catch and return our thoughts to what it is we want to focus on. Our first stop is your eyes. For this exercise, we keep the eyes closed and we see with our minds what our eyes would have seen. So as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, what would be the most obvious thing that you would see in the room that you are in if you were to open your eyes? With your mind, find that obvious thing. Study it from all its angles, see all of its color, and find all of its texture. And if your mind wanders, which it might, because you have a human brain, constantly thinking subconscious thoughts. If your mind wanders, your only job is to become aware of your mind wandering. Then return it back to the point of focus, this obvious object in your room. Take your next big breath. And then we change gears, still staying with what we can see, but this time, as you take a deep breath and dive deep into you, what would be the least obvious object in the room that you are in? Find that with your mind. Bring it closer in your mind, and as you take a deep breath and dive deep inside, study this less obvious object from all its angles. See all of its color and find all of its texture. Take your next big breath. Notice the ease with which you're able to be the observer of this experience. The experience your eyes give you. No need to react, but taking a moment to have the full experience. We'll take a step down to your ears and what you can hear. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, bring all of your awareness to what you can hear. What is the most obvious sound that you hear right now? Listen deep into it. and see if you can find different layers of vibration in this obvious sound. If your mind wanders, which it's likely to do, catch your mind wandering and return it back to what you want it to focus on. Take your next big breath. We'll change gears, and with your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, find the faintest sound in your environment right now. Something that's barely more than a whisper. And focus all of your awareness on that faint sound. See how much of it you can hear. Take your next big breath. Notice the ease with which you are able to take a step back into awareness. And just have the experience that your ears are giving you. We'll take another step down, and for these next 2 stops, you can change your breathing to whatever it needs to be for you to smell and to taste. The next stop is your nose and what you can smell. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, see if you can find any obvious smell in the air right now. And if your mind wanders, like it really could, your job is to catch it wandering and return it to the smell again. Take your next big breath. And then we'll change gears. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, is there any other smell at all that you're able to find right now? Anything besides the first obvious smell? Take your next big breath. Notice the ease with which you're able to be the observer. Simply stepping or taking a step backwards into awareness. We'll take another step down to your mouth and what you can taste. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, bring your attention to any obvious taste you can find. Is there anything available right now? Take your next big breath. Then we change gears as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you. Is it possible for you to find any other taste besides the first obvious taste? Take your next big breath. Notice the ease with which you're able to be the witness to the experience that your mouth provides. We have one more stop to do, and that is the surface of your skin. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, bring your attention to the most obvious sensation on your skin. As you take a deep breath and dive deep inside, see if you can describe to yourself all of the different pressures and sensations in that obvious spot. And if your mind wanders, which wouldn't be strange, your job simply is to catch your mind wandering and return it back to the point of focus. Take your next big breath. And the very last stop. Search the surface of your skin for a spot with the slightest sensation. Somewhere you could perhaps just feel fabric rest against skin, or even feel the air touch your cheek or your forehead. Take your next big breath. we'll take one more big breath together to slip out of the breath holding space and into the next. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. I'll read to you again a few thoughts from Sharon Salzberg. She says meditation isn't about what's happening, it's about how you relate to what's happening. And that we can't control what thoughts and emotions arise within us, nor can we control the universal truth that everything around us changes. But we can learn to step back and rest in the awareness of what's happening. That awareness can be our refuge. Is this something that you can see yourself having gotten better at? The awareness of something happening, whether it's an event inside of you or somewhere around you. And feeling a sense of awareness around what's happening. In other words, you can sense that an old trigger, an old pattern wakes up and wants to react in the same old way. But from this place of awareness that you've stepped into, you can also sense that that reaction is not quite necessary. And if you give it a minute, if you take a few big breaths, then perhaps you can choose a different way to respond. That's a long description of the very simple word awareness. And the truth is, as much as we can sit and go through the experience of our five senses without reacting to any of them, so we can also apply the same awareness to everything that happens around ourselves, or even the thoughts and feelings within ourselves. The first quote this morning says, "It's not about what happens, it's about how we relate to what happens." Can I take a moment? Can I teach myself to always take a moment? Take a moment to breathe. Take a moment to see. This seeing can become your superpower, just like Superman's laser vision. And if you create the habit of never acting, never reacting, until you can see, until you can clearly see what response would serve you best, We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you and invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for the opportunity to feel into this body and become a witness to all of its sensory experiences. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning how to practice becoming better at awareness. How to practice stepping into that space that creates clarity. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning how to hold a space for my thoughts to do the very human thing. A space in which thoughts are allowed to pop up, come and go, be busy, while I'm able to observe the beginning of the thoughts, the motion of the thoughts, and even the end of the thought. Take a deep breath in. Within this space of awareness, thank you for learning how thoughts work, how thoughts create emotions, and how emotions work. To not become involved in a wrestling match with these thoughts and emotions, but understand how I also don't need to be controlled by them. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you for taking the time to practice with us. Nella, good morning. Awesome seeing you. Happy Saturday. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Grania. Thank you, Danae. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Sunmari. Thank you, Anami. Wishing you a beautiful day. Have you found yourself becoming better at finding that space where it becomes easier to not have to react every time anything happens? This is a journey though. It doesn't happen overnight, but I'm sure that you sense more of a spaciousness within you. Lots of love to you all. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. Ciao, ciao.